Efron puts two videos just from the House of Commons now. Let's start with Stephen McKinnon. So MP Stephen McKinnon says he's deeply concerned that the opposition parties are rejecting the budget. Now, as you know, the budget is a confidence vote, and that means the government could fall. I'm not sure. I think at the last minute, the NDP, who don't have a leader, will go along with the Liberals because they can't run a campaign right now.
Right.
But he says the Liberals have, and Stephen McKinnon's a Liberal MP, he says the Liberals have a mandate and a plan, but if it fails to pass, they'll reluctantly prepare for an election. Once again, the NDP are holding the reins. So let's listen to this.
2 weeks from the budget. I think that what I'm seeing in Parliament worries me. The Bloc Québécois, who, without having even read the budget, eliminate the possibility that they will support it, and the Conservatives making just ludicrous demands with respect to the budget.
It sounds like you're worried about maybe Canada going to another election. Is that a realistic possibility Canadians should expect?
We have a minority government, but we believe we have a mandate. And when I see opposition parties not ruling out the possibility of voting for the budget, that's starting to worry me, but I think it's them that are misreading the mood of Canadians. If an election is necessary, we would obviously, reluctantly, because we don't think Canadians want an election, but election there will be. It's the opposition parties who have that decision in their hands.
Why not accept the NDP?
You'll have to ask the NDP about the NDP.
I think that's the entirety of the clip. So how dare those opposition parties oppose us? I like how they said the Conservatives are making ludicrous demands, like quit spending all of our money, inflation's killing us.
Right.
And they think that, and the Liberals think that that's a ludicrous demand. This is what we get with the global banker in charge, that they don't understand inflation versus spending.
Right. And so now we're faced with another situation like the Green Slush Fund cover-up. So are the Liberals going to prorogue and obfuscate and hide what they've been doing over these last 10 months? Or are they going to be honest with Canadians? And I mean, it would just be same old song and dance if they hid what they were doing from the Conservatives, but the opposition must push and must push hard, because we've seen our dollars being spent in their hundreds of billions of dollars on things that nobody consented to. Okay, nobody consented to any of the money that they're spending right now. So the quicker the Conservatives and the opposition can get them in line, the better for Canadians.
Do you know what? The Liberals don't want an election right now. I don't think they have the stamina. The Riz is off Count Dracula there, in his osteoporotic posture, and we just saw Newfoundland go Conservative. So these Liberals, they're frightened. Poilievre is in a safe Alberta riding, which means he can campaign anywhere without having to spend all that much time at home. And people who maybe didn't show up to vote because they thought it was in the bag for the Conservatives, who are regretful of that, I think they would be out in droves this time around. So
and especially with the change in tone from the federal Conservatives right now. So since Pierre Poilievre reclaimed his seat in Alberta, he keeps doing and saying things that Conservatives have been long waiting to hear him say. So there's been a change in vibe from Pierre Poilievre. He's going after DEI, which is incredible. Like, finally, they're going after DEI. They're going hard after bail reform, and they're taking on initiatives that they were gun shy of in the lead up to the election. So yes, they should continue on this path. Yes, they should.
Yeah,
it's good. It's so good to see it.
Yeah, you know what? Conservatives are enthusiastic for change, and they will work for it. And I think the Liberals are tired, and the NDP are hopeless. So, you know what? Let's rumble. I don't care.
Well, and not to mention that our U.S. trade negotiations are hinging on the woke issues. We saw Donald Trump say to Mark Carney, We used to do these terrible, woke, awful things like have boys and girls sports and have strangers take away your kids and change their sex. He said that to Mark Carney. In his way, he was signaling, get rid of the woke and you might get a deal, Canada. That's
Right.
what he was saying. And the Conservatives would be silly not to take advantage of that.
As a Westerner, what's the difference? We could, what's the difference if we run another election? What's the most terrible thing that could happen to us? We get another Liberal. We already got that. So whatever. And what does that do? Drive separatist sentiment? Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah.
It's not, I hate to say let's burn it all down, but sometimes I feel that way. We've got another clip. The leaderless NDP are vowing to force an election if they don't approve of the federal budget in 2 weeks. What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turned out to be right again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records for more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismissed it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense for a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Head to twc.health/rebel, use code REBEL to get 10% off free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/rebel and use code REBEL to get 10% off. Get back to that pre-COVID feeling. Watch what's going to happen. They can't run an election. They don't have a leader. They have no money, like nothing. So they will either approve of the budget just miraculously, or the Liberals are going to throw them a big expensive bone right in the middle of it. But these guys will be bought off because they have nothing, including no principles. So let's watch.
We're not afraid of an election. I don't think Canadians want one right now. I think we face some pretty serious threats from south of the border. Our economy is performing very poorly. I just saw inflation numbers come out today, 2.4%. Housing up 4% and groceries up 4%. These are on top of already stratospheric, unaffordable prices that Canadians are struggling with across this country. We have a jobs crisis. GM's closing a plant, Stellantis is closing a plant, Imperial Oil's laying off workers across this country. So there's serious issues, I think, facing our Parliament. I would like to get to work in Parliament to find solutions with my colleagues in the NDP. That's what I'm focused on right now. If Mr. Carney provides a budget that no party can support, we'll go take our fight to the Canadian people, and we'll bring New Democrat solutions to people if that's what's necessary. We're not afraid of it.
Hold on for a second. Did that have strong Thomas Mulcair vibes? Like, he doesn't, I probably disagree with this guy on 99% of everything that comes out of his mouth, but he is right on the problems in the economy. His solution and my solution would be vastly different, but he doesn't seem like a crazy person with no grasp of the issues like Jagmeet Singh. This is Don Davies. And I'm sort of surprised listening.
I was just about to say, how many times did we have to listen to Jagmeet Singh saying, we will hold this government to account. We will not let them get away with this. We will fight tooth and nail. Us, what did he call them? The NDP, like the worker bees. We're just going to continue working. We're just going to continue, doing the important things we do as New Democrats. And then nothing would happen, and they would just let the Liberals coast. And he was riding out his pension run. Like, this is distinctly different messaging from the NDP.
Completely.
Yes.
And as a Conservative, I always wish the federal NDP well, because you need to split that vote on the progressive side, and they need to seem less crazy. They need to get the crazy in check over there, so that Liberals, the more socialist, fancy Liberals, like the champagne socialist Liberals, have a reason to migrate over there.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, you know,
Fair enough.
it's Thomas Mulcair was Stephen Harper's best friend in Parliament.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
as much.
we'll see what he does.
Yeah,
We'll see what he does. Quebec has
Yeah.
already said we're not going to support it. Conservatives
naturally.
naturally will oppose it. So yeah, let's keep an eye on those federal NDP.
Let's hit the other things in the headline so that nobody sends me emails. Carney says that he is controlling Trump. It was jokey, but I can imagine that this is not going to go over well with Trump because he doesn't like to be like Trump's got a good sense of humor for sure. He's funny. This is the best timeline. But I don't think he's going to take kindly to weak and feeble Mark Carney saying that he's controlling him, even in a joking way.
No.
We have to focus on what we can control. We can't control, I can't control Donald Trump, I gotta tell you. Actually, I can't let him think I'm controlling him is maybe a better way to do it. You never know. You never know what's going to come next. But he did upgrade me to president, so I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. Got a ring. Don't tell the Governor General, don't tell King Charles, but I'm going to keep that going.
He's so...
Just such a beta. I can't control Donald Trump, or can't let him think that he's controlling me. You know exactly who's controlling you, Mark. You know exactly who the big dog is in this fight, and it ain't you.
Right. And in the meantime, Dominic LeBlanc talks about the US-Canada trade negotiations, and wouldn't you know it, it's not going as jocular as Mark Carney says it is, because there's no deal for Canada coming anytime soon. There's no deadline, so there's no end in sight. But anyways, he still believes that Carney, who has made zero progress, is the best man for the job. Well, I guess you would have to say that because he's your boss. Ezra, you're the best also.
Surprised to see this morning the report that we're possibly going to finalize a deal in the next few days. We're making progress. I'm in constant discussions on the weekend, again yesterday, with my American counterparts. We're making progress. We're into a level of detail that we hadn't seen previously, but we still have work to do, and my objective is to continue to do that work until we get to the deal, but we haven't set a deadline of a particular date in the next week or two. We'll just continue to do the work to get the right deal. Surprised to see this morning.
So there's no deal, there's no deadline, but we're just going to keep working. So nothing.
Right. He's virtue signaling here. He's virtue signaling that everybody is working very hard and it's all very busy and all very complicated, but there still isn't anything to show for it. And it's because the Liberals prioritize that virtue signaling over economic results. And let's face it, every day that we don't have an agreement with the United States is another day that the federal Liberals can build trade relationships with the EU, with their buddies in the EU, with their buddies at Davos, with their buddies, in the green slush fund circles, with Asia, with, you know what I mean? Like every day that we don't have the Americans on board, a trade deal is a day that they can do shady deals under the radar with all of their other potential customers that they're trying to expand markets to. Yeah.
Right. And, I wouldn't even be against trade deals with these other places if they were actually beneficial trade deals. For example, at any point, we could have sold these people LNG, liquefied natural gas. We could have sold that to Europe to offset Gazprom and their stranglehold on Europe. We could have sold that same liquefied natural gas to Japan, who came and knocked in 3 times.
Yeah, to Germany, to Europe. Yep.
Exactly. But instead, we're like, you know what? We're going to do a deal on cheese with them. And you're like, great for the dairy farmers, whatever. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.